Alright, welcome back everybody to part 3 in our video series. Today we're going to take a look at what we want to eat and what we want to avoid while intermittent fasting. So when you're intermittent fasting, there's really 3 main food groups that you want to focus on. That would be protein, fats, and carbs. So starting with fats, we want to get good healthy fats in throughout the day. These will help keep us full. They'll help keep us satiated, hopefully keep some of the hunger pains at a little lower levels. So things like eggs, avocado, almond butter, olive oil, nuts, those are all great, especially for breaking the fast. So a great way, things I love to use to break the fast are things like celery and almond butter. That's just a good healthy fat, and it's got some fiber. So it's a really good way to break the fast and kind of get all your GI motility working. The fiber helps to move things through to the other end. So that's a good way to get that fast broken. Also with fiber, we want to make sure that we're consuming high levels of fiber right when we break that fast. So things like cruciferous vegetables, I like to eat also a lot of those in my first meal breaking the fast. Even that's only about a 6-hour window. In that first 2 hours, I'll eat just a ton of broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Really good things that are also great for your gut's microbiome, help to nourish that microbiome. So when breaking the fast, we want to focus on foods that are high in fiber, high in healthy fat, and pretty low in protein, because as we start to get more into that feeding period, we'll eat a little more protein. So next, we want to get in some lean proteins. So things like very lean organic chicken breasts, very lean organic ground meat. If you can find organic ground meat, try and opt for that. Generally, ground beef, ground turkey, those are heavily processed. So if you can find organic, that's definitely one food that you should try and opt for and spend the extra money for organic. Lean meats, also things like if you want to find a leaner ground beef, grass-fed, would be best in that area as well. Cruciferous veggies, so Brussels sprouts, broccoli sprouts, if you can find them, those have a ton of good phytonutrients in them. So lots of cruciferous vegetables while breaking that fast. Probiotic-rich foods, so things like kefir, kombucha, because when you're fasting, you want to take advantage of the fact that you're not putting really any sugar, any of the foods you need to avoid during that fast. You're not putting any of those foods into your gut, so your healthy gut bacteria are really primed to use some good pro and prebiotics. So if you can find some probiotic-rich foods, those would be, again, things like kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi. Any of those fermented foods have a lot of probiotics. That would, during this this breaking the fast period, will also be a great time to include a probiotic supplement, a good healthy probiotic supplement. And we have a video coming up for how to choose the right probiotic supplement. And then finally, we want to get some low glycemic fruits in. So berries are generally very low glycemic fruit. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, those all fall very low as far as how much sugar they have in them. Fruits to avoid would be things like bananas, oranges. Those citrus tropical fruits tend to have a higher glycemic index. So try and opt for the berries if you can. What we want to avoid, so we want to avoid sugar. Again, we want to keep our insulin levels as stable as possible while intermittent fasting. Sugar will spike your insulin. Now, everyone will respond a little bit differently to what foods spike their insulin. Some people can have even lean meats, they can have certain fats that spike their insulin, but nothing will spike your insulin higher than sugar. So we want to keep that sugar low. Also, we want to keep processed foods low. So while you're intermittent fasting, if you have to take a food, look at the label and read what's in it, and if it has an ingredient list with more than just a couple ingredients on it, that's a processed food. Go ahead and toss that, and do not include that in your intermittent fasting. So, and generally processed foods we find in the middle of the grocery store, so try and stay on the aisle, on the outskirts of the grocery store. That's where all the good food is. Once we go into the middle, that's where we find all those processed foods, so avoid those while intermittent fasting. And then counting calories. That is one thing you do not have to worry about while intermittent fasting. As long as you're eating from this side of the board here, don't worry about counting calories. That's kind of the beautiful thing about intermittent fasting. You can eat during your feeding period. As long as you're eating good, healthy foods, don't worry about counting the calories. most studies indicate that even when we're eating the same amount of calories, if we're doing it in a smaller time frame, that's better for fat loss and for overall health. So don't worry so much about counting calories. All right, hope you enjoyed, hope this was helpful, and good luck on your intermittent fasting journey.